Reproduction in human beings. The reproductive organ of human being is testes and ovaries. Testes in the male and ovary in the female. In male, sexual maturity is attained at the age of 13 to 14 years, while in the female at the age of 10 to 12 years. And this age is known as the age of puberty. The testes produce male gamete and the male sex hormone testosterone, while the ovary produces the female gamete and female sex hormone estrogen and progesterone. Now what is puberty? Puberty, it is the age at which the sex hormone or the gametes begin to be produced and the boy or girl becomes sexually mature and sexually active. Changes common in the boys and the girls. Thick hair growth in the armpit and genital area. Changes in the both boys and girls equally. Thick hair growth in armpit and genital area between the thigh. Thinner hair on the legs, arms and face. Oily skin and appearance of the pimples. Now changes different in the boys and the girls. Changes in the girls. Breast size increase. Darkening of the nipple skin. Start of the menstruation cycle. At the age of puberty, the changes in the boys are thick facial hair growth. Voice begins to crack. Penis occasionally become enlarged and erect. Male reproductive system. First part of this is testes. Testes are the oval-shaped primary reproductive organ in man. This is the testes. This testis is the oval-shaped primary reproductive organ in the male body. A pair of testes lies in a small sac-like muscular structure outside the abdominal cavity. These lie outside the abdominal cavity in a small sac-like muscular structure, and this muscular structure is called the scrotum. These testes lie in the muscular structure called the scrotum. The function of the testes is to produce the sperm and the male sex hormone testosterone. The function of the testes are to produce sperm and the male sex hormone testosterone. The scrotum provides the optimal temperature for formation of the sperm. Second part is epididymis. Epididymis. It is a coiled tube-like structure. This is the epididymis. It is a coiled tube-like structure firmly attached to the testes. It is attached to the testes and serves as the storehouse of the sperm. Here the sperms are stored here. Inside the epididymis, sperm become mature and develop motility. Motility means movement. Here the sperm get mature and get motility. Vasa differentia. This tube is called the vasa differentia. The sperms are carried by a long tube called the vasa differentia or sperm duct into an organ called the seminal vesicle. This is the seminal vesicle. This seminal vesicle where the sperm get nourished and stored for some time. Now urethra. Urethra is a common duct. This is the urethra. It is a common duct for the passage of both urine and the spermatic fluid. Urine and spermatic fluid both are passed from here. Urethra carries the sperm to an organ called the penis. This is called the penis, which open to the outside through a male genital pore. Penis. Penis forms the external male genital organ. This is the external male genital organ. It is a copulatory organ with thick muscular walls. Here are the certain glands, accessory gland and the prostate gland. Accessory gland. Seminal vesicle are a pair of thin-walled muscular elongated sac which secrete fluid for the nourishment of the sperm. In the seminal vesicle, sperms are nourished here. Prostate gland also produced fluid which is released in the urethra along with the secretion of the seminal vesicle. The secretion of the accessory gland together with the sperm is called the semen. Sperm. Sperm are the tiny bodies that consists mainly of the genetic material, and it has a long tail also, which help them to move towards the female germ cell and help in the fertilization. Reproductive system. Female germ cell or egg are made in the ovaries. These are the ovaries. And egg or germ cell, female germ cell or egg are made in the ovaries and are responsible for the productions of the hormones also. Ovaries. Ovaries are a pair of small and oval shaped organs located in the abdominal cavity near the kidney. These are lies near the kidney and lies in the abdominal cavity, and these are the pear shaped organ and release the egg cell or the female germ cell. Ovaries are the female primary reproductive organ which perform dual function of production of the female gamete or ovum or egg and the secretion of the female sex hormone estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone. These tubes are the fallopian tubes. Fallopian tube or the oviduct are a pair of the convoluted tubes that carry ova or egg from the ovary to the uterus. The fallopian tube has a funnel-shaped opening near the ovary. These tubes form both the side open into an elastic bag-like structure. This is called the uterus or womb. These tube-like structure open into a bag-like structure. This is called the uterus or womb. Uterus. It is a hollow pear-shaped organ. This is the uterus. It is a hollow pear-shaped organ within which the embryo dwells. Its upper portion is broader. This broader portion is, and while its lower portion is the narrower, and this lower portion is called the cervix. This lower portion, narrower portion is called the cervix. Next is the vagina. This is the vagina. The uterus open into the vagina through the cervix. Vagina is a tubular structure it is also called the birth canal. It receives sperms from the male and also serves as passage through which the fully developed fetus is born. Sexual reproduction in human beings. The male gamete or sperm is introduced inside the female genital tract, that is vagina. Male gamete or sperm introduced into the vagina by the process of the copulation or the mating. Fertilization occurs in the fallopian tube. Sperms are highly active and mobile. It can move easily, which move up through cervix into the uterus and then pass into the fallopian tube. In the fallopian tube, only one sperm of the fertilizes the ovum to form a zygote. This is called the fertilization. Here, copulation process takes place, and from this sperm enter through the vagina, through the cervix, it reaches to the fallopian tube, and here fertilization of the egg takes place. Fertilization occurs only if copulation takes place during the ovulatory period. The embryonic development of the zygote starts immediately in the fallopian tube, and pregnancy starts while menstruation stops. The embryo moves down to reach the uterus. This is the uterus. The embedding of the embryo in the thick inner lining of the uterus is called the implantation. Embedding of the embryo in the thick inner lining of uterus is called implantation. Then a special tissue develops between the uterine wall and the embryo or the fetus is called the placenta. It is the plate-like structure where the exchange of the nutrients, oxygen and the waste product take place between the fetus and the mother. The time period from the development of the fetus inside the uterus till birth is called the gestation period, and it is for the 9 months. This 9-month period is called the gestation period. The act of giving birth of fully developed fetus at the end of gestation period is termed as the parturition. This is called the parturition or giving birth to the young one. What is menstruation? The breakdown and removal of the inner thick and soft lining of the uterus along with its blood vessel in the form of the vaginal bleeding is called the menstrual flow or menstruation. The cycle of the events taking place in the ovaries and uterus every 28 days or roughly 1 month and marked by the menstrual flow is called the menstrual cycle or the sexual cycle in human female. It lasts for about 2 to 8 days. Reproductive health. Reproductive health is all aspects of general health which help a person to lead a normal, safe and satisfying reproductive life. Now sexually transmitted disease or STD. Sexually transmitted disease or STD which spread by the sexual contact from an infected person to a healthy person. Some sexually transmitted disease are gonorrhea. Gonorrhea spread by the bacterium Neisseria gonorrhea. It causes the inflammation in the urinogenital tract. Syphilis. It is caused by the bacterium Trypanosoma pallidum. Lesions in the mucous membrane. Trichomonasis. It is spread by the protozoa Trichomonas vaginalis and it causes the vaginal discharge. AIDS. AIDS full form is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome and it is caused by the virus HIV means human immunodeficiency virus which suppress the body immune mechanism. It can spread through the sexual contact, transfusion of the blood from an infected person through the infected needle through placenta from mother to the child. In this method, physical devices such as condoms, diaphragm, cervical caps are used. These devices prevent the entry of the sperm in the female genital tract during copulation and it will stop the fertilization or fusion of the male and female gametes. Second is the chemical method. In this, we use some chemical. In this method, female use specific drugs which are of the two types, maybe oral pills or maybe vaginal pills. Oral pill contains hormone which stops the ovaries from releasing the ovum into the fallopian tube. These pills are called the oral contraceptive devices. Use of intrauterine contraceptive devices that is IUCD prevents implantation in the uterus. This device is copper-T. This copper-T is placed in the female body safely inside the uterus by a doctor or a nurse. Third method is surgical method. In this method, a small portion of the vasa differentia in male is surgically removed or tied. Vasa differentia part is surgically removed or tied and this process is called vasectomy. And in the female, fallopian tube is surgically removed or tied and this process is called the tubectomy. And these are the three methods by which any person can stop the pregnancy: mechanical barrier method, chemical method and surgical method. Thank you.